All right, so this is going to be the planning tag. Again, I think I'm the last person to get a chance to do this, so here we go. It's quite long, so I'm going to try and get through it as quickly as possible. So, will you find out the gender? Most definitely. I think that nowadays it's just a given that for the first one at least to find out the gender so that you can plan ahead and get the nursery ready and get the clothing ready and all of that. I just think that it's such an important thing to be ready, especially for the first baby. So most definitely we will be finding out the gender. Will you use a pacifier? At this point, I would definitely say yes, but then again, I know that there are risks involved with it, and I think that it depends on, how long, you would let your child use it, but for the most part, especially when they're babies and they're infants and they need that soothing quality, I think that a pacifier would definitely come in handy. So yes, we'll probably use one, but for not any longer than just maybe 6 months tops, probably. Do you have any nursery ideas? I have a lot of nursery ideas. For a girl, I saw this when I was pregnant the first time back in March of 2010. And it was pink and purple, and it had dragonflies and ladybugs on it, and it was just so cute. I saw it at babiesrus.com. I don't remember the name of it, and I hope that it's still out there when I have a child, because it was absolutely perfect. I'm obsessed with dragonflies. They are kind of like everybody else has an animal. I have dragonflies. They kind of are like I don't know who I am. They kind of stand for what I am. So I definitely would love to have that in my child's nursery, and I also think they're just so pretty. If it was a boy, my husband, and his family, have said this before, were firefighters, and his dad was there 28 years, I think, and is retired, and his brother's still active in it, and my husband is no longer able to. But if we had a boy, the boys' nursery would definitely be firefighter themed, with the little fire hydrants and the little Dalmatian dogs and little fire trucks all over everything. I think that would be just so cute for a little boy, and very masculine too. Are you the first, middle, or last of friends to TTC? I think I am probably the middle. I have a lot of friends I went to high school with that have three, at least three kids, and then again, and I also have some that are just not in that place in their life to have kids. So I would definitely have to say I'm the middle, and I think I'm probably the only one that in my group of friends that I graduated with that actually tried to have a baby. Most of them ended up pregnant out of high school or before marriage or something like that. So I think I might be the first to actually try and have a baby and not accidentally become pregnant. Will you use hand-me-downs? Oh yes, I have a huge family and they all have kids and they all have so much stuff. I will be getting a ton of hand-me-downs. I think it's just ridiculous these days how many items of clothing you buy for a baby, under a year, because they just grow out of them so fast. And even between a year and 5 years, they are, getting taller and they're growing into their body and everything. I just don't understand why you need to buy so many clothes. So all the clothes that a lot of my cousins have, and my cousin's kids, I think that we'll be definitely getting a bunch of hand-me-downs. I've already gotten a few items from Tim's friends that have kids. We got a little pack and play, and we got a used stroller that is in our garage. We may or may not use those depending on how long they've been up there by the time we have kids. And also it's for a boy, so if we have a girl, we probably won't use it. Let's see. How close in age would you like your children? I would at least say 3 years and under, maybe 2 years and under. My sister and I were 18 months apart and were very close growing up. I mean, we did have our arguments, but for the most part, we were very close and always there for each other. And I want my kids to have the same thing, whether it's, a sister and sister relationship or brother sister relationship or two brother relationship. I think that it's, essential that your kids are, at least somewhat close in age so they can grow up together and experience life together and just, be there for each other, So probably I would definitely have to say, yeah, 2 years and under would probably be more realistic for us. Let's see. Will you make your own baby food? I would love to say yes. I would love to do that, but I'll probably have to go back to work around the time that the baby starts to have solid foods. I mean, I can always prepare a week ahead of time. I'm not sure how long that stuff lasts and how fresh or how far in advance you can make it where it's still fresh. I'll have to do some research on that. But if I'm able to, I will definitely do it. I think it's much healthy for your child to have, their own baby food or to make your own baby food. No preservatives and, all of that good stuff. Will you co-sleep? I had to look this up because I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but apparently it means sleeping in the same bed with your child at night. And that's a big no-no for us. My husband is too hard of a sleeper, and he's already said before he's afraid that he would roll over or smother the child or something like that, and then there's the risk of just blankets and all of that stuff. It's just I as a mother wouldn't be able to sleep having a child in the bed, so that's a big no. We'll probably have a bassinet or something next to the bed. Will you use a stroller or believe in using a stroller? I believe in using a stroller. I just think that a stroller has a time and a place. I just think that if you're going to the mall or if you're going grocery shopping or something like that, you need a place to put all of your items. And a stroller is definitely would help out with that. But if you're just going for a quick walk or something like that, or just I don't even know what you would be doing, but I definitely love the baby wearing thing. I think that it'd be really awesome to have my husband do that, so he could still carry the child around, but still have his one arm free and able to do things. So we'll probably be looking into both. Will you go back to work or stay at home? I would love to say I would be able to be a stay-at-home mom, but that's just not realistic in my life. My husband, doesn't work and he's on permanent disability, and he would probably be the stay-at-home dad. I would have to go back to work and, maybe for the first year be able to work part-time so I'd home more, but eventually would go back to work full-time, unless by the grace of God I could open my own, my own business and I could, choose my own hours, but I don't foresee that happening. So yeah, I would probably have to go back to work. After a newborn or infant, how long will you let your child cry before going to them? I think that it depends on the situation, but if my child's hurt and is calling for me, I would be there in a split second. But if it's just to antagonize you or something like that, and it's just out of spite, as they get older, I would definitely say let them cry and let them learn their lesson. How often will you bathe your child? Seriously, when they need a bath? I mean, that's just common knowledge. I mean, when they're infants, it's not necessary unless they have poop on them or spit up or something like that. And as they get older, if they're dirty, give them a bath. But you don't want to, why would you give your child a bath too often? I don't see the point in that. But will you extend rear-facing car seat? I don't think I'll extend doing it, but I think that I'll definitely do what's recommended, obviously, for your child and for their safety. Will you breastfeed? If so, for how long? I'm definitely going to breastfeed. I'm going to give it my all to make sure that I'm able to do it. And I would love to say I would breastfeed for a year, or at least pump for a year, but I mean, I can't there's no guarantees on that. You can't say that you are, some women have problems with it and some women, they dry up or something like that. So I would love to say a year just because I know it's crucial for your child. So most definitely that. Um, when will you introduce solids or baby food? I would definitely say, I think it's like 3 months you can start giving them cereals, or maybe 4 months. But definitely, whatever's recommended by the doctor. If uh, you know, I'll do whatever I'm supposed to do. Do you want a boy or a girl first? If you asked my husband, he would say boy. But me being the older sister, I think that I would want a girl first, just because, I was able to teach, some of my younger cousins and stuff just as much as, if I were to be an older brother. I think that having an older sister is just as cool. So I would definitely I want a girl first. But I would love to have whatever we get. I'm not going to be picky when it comes down to it. I would love either. Do you have names picked out? Most definitely. Reference my baby name tag on my channel as well. How many kids do you want? I want 3. My husband wants 2. But we'll see how that goes. Will you homeschool? Probably not. I was raised going to public school. My husband went to public school, and I just think that I turned out great. My husband turned out very smart, so we probably won't homeschool, but it all depends on how the schooling is when my kids get that, far, get to where they need to be in school. If schools are just getting worse and worse, and, then maybe. Home or a hospital birth? Definitely a hospital birth. I just couldn't see myself giving birth at home. There's just too many risks and too many things involved. I just couldn't imagine something happening, and not having the doctors or, the tools needed to get you through that situation. So definitely a hospital birth. Planned C-section, epidural, or natural birth? Well, for my first one, my first child, definitely not a planned C-section. I don't see why you would plan something like that unless it's a necessity. But I would definitely say, for me, I'm going to do natural childbirth as long as I possibly can, but I'm not going to rule out an epidural. If I get in there and, it's absolutely unbearable and I am in so much pain to where I can't even focus, definitely say an epidural. I mean, that's not something you can predict ahead of time, especially when you haven't had a child before. Let's see. Will you drink while pregnant? I mean, is that seriously a question? Of course not. There's no studies out there that say that any amount of alcohol is safe for when you're pregnant. I just don't see, why people would even chance it. There's no absolute 100% solid proof that say that even one small glass of wine or one, anything with alcohol in it wouldn't harm your child. Will you cloth diaper or use disposables? I would love to cloth diaper. I don't know much about that yet. This is all still really new to me, but I'm definitely going to look more into it. I think that it would be really great, but then again, it all boils down to also what is easiest on my husband. Only having one arm is going to be challenging as it is to change a diaper on a baby or even in any age child. So we'll kind of go from there. And then there's also the fact of, extra, work on my husband when I'm not home, having to clean the diapers and wash them out in the toilet and dealing with the poop and all that stuff. So I guess we'll have to see how that goes. But I am getting close to my end mark, my timer. So I'm definitely going to say tag all you ladies who haven't done this yet. It was really fun. Thank you, Lauren, and thank you to all of my people I'm subscribed to who did it. I learned a lot from you. Thank you, guys.